2. Hey, party people! Welcome to another episode of Uncorked with T. I'm T. This is my guest, Anne Hurston. So, Anne is now. Listen, guys, her resume is stupid good. Like, yeah. So she's a sociologist. She also teaches sociology. She's a public speaker. She's a data collector, keynote addresser, motivational speaker, and she does oral history collections. And there's another word that I'm going to ask her to pronounce because I say it wrong every time. It's the E word that we talked about before.
Ethnography.
That's the one. That's what she does as well.
Yeah, that.
She is also the niece of Zora Neale Hurston, which is mind-blowingly insane. And you are named after your grandmother, Lucienne Bell / Hurston.
Lucienne Potts.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, her maiden name was Potts.
So, hi, Lucienne. Welcome to Uncorked with Tea. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm so excited to talk to you.
It is my pleasure. So I'm going to start off by saying that when you see me doing the bobble dog thing, okay, and these itty bitty little glasses, I've got trifocals, okay? So it's like just finding where you are, okay?
Okay, we good?
Okay, we're good. Just so you just don't think I'm crazy.
No, never that.
Never know.
Never know.
You may take that back.
So,
it's early in the hour, so
this is how we're starting, guys. This is going to be an amazing episode. I'm so incredibly excited. And I forgot to start the other recording. We're good. Don't worry about it. There we go. So you wrote a book called Speak, So You Can Speak Again, The Life of Zora Neale Hurston, which was a collection, interactive package, tracking Zora Neale Hurston's journey in life and her journey to ascension as an amazing writer. How did that start, and why did you want to do that?
Well, my father left me with a lot of the material items that were remnants of Zora's life. And out of respect for her as an anthropologist, a cultural anthropologist, as she was, and as a cultural sociologist, an ethnographer, which is what I am, which are just like sisters, like closer than first cousins, right? I thought it would be an awesome way to share her through her methodological life, right? So the method that she used to explore the world for her life, I would use that and share her life in those symbols and material elements that were part of her life. So the letters, for the first time you see her handwriting, hear her voice on the CD that's included, because that's how she would capture folk tales and folk songs and such, children's games. She would learn them and record them. And so we have those now on the radio interviews with the NPR of the day, the Mary McBride show. So you hear her voice, you see her handwriting, her drawings, her letters that she wrote, the means of communication of the day. Like now we look into people's emails. Back then you looked into their correspondence. Okay. So, the little emails not the little letters that she wrote about important things like a Black segregated cemetery. She found that very important, that we had a place to lay our respectful Black bodies. So it was a fun way to put together an intro to Zora. If you knew nothing about her, then bam, here's your basic, easy introduction. That would be the stepping stone to her works and works of others that looks at the work of Hurston. If you know her, then this became, if you knew of her, then this becomes like your own personal scrapbook about her. And now those things, when she talks about the mother and the stepmother, and those pictures mean different things in that book for you. Just a different approach, just a different approach.
Nice. So I was reading up on you and Zora Neale Hurston, and I found this story about Zora going to an award ceremony and her kicking in the door, literally, and coming in with the entourage. Is that something that you've done before, or is that Yes. Have you kicked in any doors? Like, you ever just felt the need to just be like, not today, mofo, and just kicking the door or something?
Maybe on the way out. Maybe as a way to get out. Okay. Yeah, no. But thank you. I will tuck that away. I will tuck that option away.
Just in case, like you ever want to kick in the door.
No,
I got you. I'll kick in the door for you.
Okay. We might have to do that.
We should do that. Just saying. So I had like this this question. I'm not sure if you can answer it. This is the question I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's an answer to it, but let's see. If we think about nature versus nurture, the debate of whether human behavior is determined by the environment or the person's genes, could that same argument be applied to talent?
No.
Okay. Why?
In my opinion, from the research that I've been trained in, we're pretty much blank slates, okay? And we are the sum of those things that we are exposed to and wallow around in, okay? And so the opportunity can present itself in different ways to different people to do different things, whether it's sports or science or speaking different languages or whatever, but it's what we learn. It's what we have the opportunity to learn. And the idea that there's this total wide open free will, everybody can make it and anybody can make it, and anyone that doesn't make it, it's because they need a good slap in the face with a sociology course.
Get it? Let's talk about it.
Okay. But the whole nurture nature thing, the idea that some people have certain genetic dispositions that increase or even decrease their ability and their skills, unless we're talking about deficiencies, medical genetic deficiencies, the award of talent comes from sweat, not genes. Comes from effort, comes from the acquisition of knowledge and the application of skills. But there are lots of brilliant people that have made monumental contributions that are not lettered and credentialed. Okay, so that in itself is a social creation, that the more letters you have behind your name, the smarter you are, and the better you are. There can be people that are not credentialed that are brilliant in their conception of and expression of the social world around them. You could take Bob Marley, okay, and put someone like Bob Marley or Marcus Garvey, okay, up against Bill Gates or Stephen Hawking. But all you're doing is talking apples and oranges. Okay. Someone has the power to say that this is knowledge and this is important. And it ranks more than just knowing this. Is this when we start screaming, drink, drink, drink? Okay.
Yes. You should start doing keg stands like with wine.
You lean real academic hard one way, we gotta lean the other way. Okay?
So if both of these, one of these things is real and one isn't, if both of these things were real, which is better, the 5 Heartbeats or the Temptations?
Temptations. I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. Because you didn't move.
Because it hurt.
Those 5 heartbeats hurt. Those all 5 of them hurt. Yeah. Okay.
I was way too old before I realized that the 5 Heartbeats were not a real group. I was like 30 plus when I realized. Yeah. Well,
and there's no Santa and there's no fairy.
Say what? What?
Let me break it down for you. Let me destroy your life. Yeah. Sorry.
Son of a soccer mom. There's no Santa.
No.
I don't know what to do next.
Easter bunny.
There's no Easter. Listen, bunnies don't lay eggs. Why are we teaching children this? This is not okay.
And children are smart. I'm sure they don't have the vocabulary to say, we'll just let them play the fool and
whatever. I get chocolate.
Okay. I get chocolate, I get money under my pillow, and okay, fine, yeah. Fat guy comes down a chimney. We don't have a chimney, but
yep. Mm-hmm.
The key is a key, and the dog won't bite him.
My dog will lose his mind. My dog will lose his mind. Oh my gosh.
Can't have to bring a big bone. Your glass holds more than mine.
So you do a lot of writing because no,
wait, I had the bottle far away. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Dale Galbo, I don't know who that is, but what's up, Gail? Dale, thank you for commenting. He said doing great and no Easter bunny. He's very surprised, and I'm sorry we got the ball. I'm sorry, Dale.
Is she? And thank you, Dale. Is she like in the chat room doing stuff?
Yeah, she's in the chat, and everyone watching, feel free to hop in the chat and ask Miss Lucienne any question you want. Be respectful. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Oh, bring it. Come on.
Right.
Come on. I got you. I'm a teacher.
Brandon Williams says, this is great. Hi, Kathy. She said, I'm loving two of my faves.
Oh my gosh. Kathy, when you were on, that's what inspired me to reach out to T in the first place. So hi, Kathy. I'm so glad you're here. And hi, Gail. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and I love Kathy.
Hi, Bryden. Wherever you from.
Right? What's up, Bryden? Why did my voice just get so deep? What's up, Bryden? How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I've really had one glass of wine.
Can we talk about how you count your glasses of wine?
This is my second glass of wine.
Yeah.
And the last number you'll hear tonight. No matter how many more times I fill this glass, it's number 2.
That's right.
How many glasses of wine did I have? 2. Wait, I have to tell you something. I have a girlfriend that gave me a glass that looks similar to yours. Hold yours up there. Looks very similar to yours. It's up on my bar right here. And it holds the entire bottle of wine.
I like the way your friend thinks.
Okay.
I do.
Like the most marvelous gift in the world. You put the entire bottle in one glass. How many glasses of wine did you have? One.
The way God intended.
Okay, so this is like hand-etched fancy schmancy. I took out my fancy glass tonight instead of like swilling from the bottle or using my big, huge monster mutant mug.
So I'm curious. You've done so your resume is like crazy long, like 6 pages.
Because I'm old.
That's how much work you've done. Like so much work. And first of all, okay, let's give you your flowers while you're here. That is amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. You've taught in several different what's the word for school? That's the one. Institutions.
Yeah.
I'm not drunk, I swear.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're working.
I have aspirations.
We're working.
You've taught in several different institutions, and I'm just wondering, what is your writing process? Like, do you write early in the morning? Do you write at night? Do you need a certain environment in order to be creative?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
I write. I'm an early riser, so anything that's real important has to happen in the first 3 hours of my day. Okay, so I get up and immediately, get the juices flowing, and so I write very, very early. After 11 o'clock, it's time to crack a bottle of wine. So the writing process, no. I get busy in the head later in the day. Mm-hmm. Later into the day, I go either thinking about things. Okay, I've got to remember to check that off. I finished that, or I didn't get this to this today. I've got to move this up. So the later in the day, the more complicated it gets, and then the decompression time. After about 5, 6 o'clock is decompression time in preparation for getting hopefully a good night's sleep. So it's, screens off and it's craft stuff. It's, lots of.
Oh, you turn your screens off?
Well, not my phone, but
but I mean, that's a secret, right?
I come away from the screens, so I leave my laptop, no more work. I close my office. There's no more, going to the desktop. I stopped responding to all but maybe some of the emails that come across. If I have a student, this is midterm week. If I have a student that writes me at 10 o'clock on submission night, they have an issue, I'm going to look at that and okay, right? But pretty much aside from emergencies, I try to limit the amount of, it's like I'm teaching. I'm not delivering babies, okay? I'm not on call, okay? At 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be okay, all right? So I don't feel the need to answer you that, I missed the quiz. So I try and manage my time like that. And I try and make sure I do something fun every day for myself. And so, like I said earlier, it may be ukulele. This pandemic, my anxiety, my stress, and I've got to try new things. And so I bought a kiln. I'm doing ceramics.
Nice.
I am quilting. I'm doing crocheting. I'm knitting. I'm making little pocket prayer shawls for my church. Just everything, crossword puzzles, a godsend. But just doing things to keep my mind busy and keep me engaged and concentrating on something for a few hours every single day. And my newest thing is I have a walk buddy, and we do these virtual walks. We share the walk on and so it's real difficult to cancel when like somebody else is waiting for you.
Right.
So we've like pinky swore across time and space that we're doing this. And we are up to doing like almost 10 miles a week. Yeah. Wow. 3-mile walks, man. 3-mile walks 3 times a week and then throw one in. Yeah. I did 4 miles this morning before 9 o'clock a.m. No, before 10 o'clock a.m.
I'm going to be honest, Miss Lucy, that's nauseous. I don't.
If you want something bad enough, all right, and what I want is to be able to drink wine and not get fat. So how far would you walk for a glass of wine? 4 miles 3 times a week. Okay.
So Kathy said you are only one Lucy. Yeah.
Wait, and Gina is my walk buddy. She's my walk buddy. She's on there. Hi, Gina. She wants to know which one I'm drinking tonight. Okay, tonight, Gina, we have the Fifth Note. This is one from First Leaf. All right, and Gina's question is, which accomplishment is the one of which you are most proud?
Great question, Gina. Great question.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We'll talk about that tomorrow, Gina. Jesus, my girl, man. Tails on. I think the accomplishment I'm most proud of would be the completion of my first college degree. I graduated high school at 16. All right, my birthday is April 1st. So I just turned 16, graduated high school. Bad situation at home and everything, and somebody asked me to marry them, and he was going into the army and moving to Hawaii, and it was the way to get me out the house. I was like, okay, fine, sure. All right, and all right, so graduate high school at 16, married at 17, pregnant at 18, baby at 19, divorced at 20. Get that shit out the way, okay? And then worked for 15 years in data processing. I started in the typing pool, literally, because I could type. I could make flames come off a keyboard, man. Okay? I am the fastest typist. I took typing 4 years in high school because my guidance counselor said so. Okay? So I took this job. I was in the typing pool. They saw something in me. They sent me to classes at IBM in New York and stuff.
Yeah.
And I became a COBOL programmer.
A what?
COBOL programmer.
That's
all right.
crazy.
Yes. And I spent 15 years in data processing and worked my way up all the way to being VP manager in charge of financial systems. Okay.
Shit.
But I wasn't happy. Everybody, and my father passed. Everybody thought I lost my mind because they said, I'm quitting my job. I'm not going to waste years of my life doing something where I'm happy 2 days a month, the 15th and the 30th, which is paydays. Okay. And the only day I was happy. Okay. The rest of it being on call, 60-hour weeks. It was like, I'm not going to do it. And I left, and my father had left me itty bitty little bit of money. And I said, if I'm frugal, I can go to school for a couple of years. And I went to community college and earned my degree. And I started college at 31 years old, divorced with 2 kids. Okay. So, and I worked my ass off. Okay. Because I was on scholarship. All right. And as long as I made the grades, all right,
they keep paying for it.
Right. I was like, I just have to. So I joined by the time I finished my associate's degree, I earned entry into Alpha Mu Gamma, the Foreign Language Honor Society, right? Phi Theta Kappa, the International 2-Year Honor Society. Went on to do my bachelor's at Central Connecticut State, right? And went Alpha Kappa Delta Sociology Honor Society. Got a presidential fellowship to go to the Ohio State University. Right,
Ohio State.
You're an alum. You have to say the, all right, for my master's degree, and all the while, this is built off of the foundation of a 31-year-old woman who started at a community college, right? So on that foundation, I was able to compete with other people from other institutions that supposedly may have even been deemed more prestigious than mine. But on that foundation, I built that educational legacy.
So, educational legacy. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've taught at, I had the list.
I taught a couple of semesters at Trinity College in Hartford as a visiting scholar. I started as an adjunct at a community college, and then in Connecticut, and then moved from there to another community college. So the bulk of my teaching time, full-time teaching career, has been at the community college level in Connecticut. But I teach still at Eastern Connecticut State University, at Holyoke Community College in Massachusetts, at Massasoit Community College in Massachusetts. So
you're busy.
What I do, but the accomplishment that I'm most proud of is making it through those difficult 2 years, 31 years old, doing an associate's degree, sitting in a classroom, an English class with 18-year-olds, right? Who just don't want to be there. They're just, and I had to play mommy and turn around and say, shut the fuck up. And then look at that.
Damn it.
I said, if you could take that conversation outside. I'm not telling you don't have the conversation. You're just not having it behind me here. Okay?
I'm trying to learn.
Right? So all the while making notes to myself, boy, if I ever get control of a classroom when I grow up,
Boy, oh boy.
Because at the time I had no expectation that I would be a college professor. But by the time I graduated with my associate's degree,
you knew.
I knew. I knew that, this is what I want to do. And I know what my major is going to be. And it's going to be sociology. It's the broadest approach to looking at everything that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be an English major. I love history. I wanted to study it. And of all the things that I could do through sociology, I could address all of those. Right. And so that's when I founded my research company so that I could choose what I wanted.
I'm sorry. We're not just going to skip over that. You founded a research company?
Hurston Research. Yes. Okay.
Sweet. Child of mine.
Because I wanted to, when I started doing my research work for my senior thesis, and for my master's, I knew that I wanted to publish my own work. I wanted to do the type of research that I was interested in, or the things that would lead to what I would think would be important. I spent a summer exploring women-centered networks through the Bureau of Women's Affairs in Jamaica. All right. So after doing that and looking at the organization, the structural organization of domestic workers, right? The next thing that led me to was in the Bahamas, was an island where I studied a women's fishing network. Okay. And it was the fall after 9/11.
Oof.
Okay. And I had worked so hard at getting this connection and doing the preliminary and getting permission to come. And so I went, and it was in October. Right? So it was just a scant month after. There was like 7 of us on the plane.
Because there wasn't nobody on planes, man.
No. But it allowed me, having Hurston research allows me to do the research on things that I think are important, or that I think need to have attention called to. All right. I interviewed the inmates at prisons in St. Kitts, in Bastille, St. Kitts, in the capital of St. Kitts. Okay. So I became very good friends with the commissioner of the prisons there, and did research work there, under his auspice. Right. So it's been fun to be able to be my own boss and decide this is something important. I want to look at rural domestic workers in Jamaica. I want to look at inter-island movement. I want to look at, these are things that are important to follow. What structures people put in place for their own survival. There are wonderful networks and lessons that can be learned from the way people organize life and networks around them for assistance. Okay, so looking at, even in the research work that I did for years in Jamaica, the rural versus the urban movement, right? And how women share these networks, and caring for each other's children and such. Just beautiful, wonderful work that I'm sure Zora paralleled and would have appreciated, following marital rituals in Jamaica. To think of how many times our paths crossed, my aunt, okay, and our paths crossed in Jamaica, geographically, but decades apart, before I even knew about where she went and what she was doing with Mules and Men. So it's been a fascinating, interesting trip. And then to have people call on me to say, oh, can I use your data set? Okay, because we like to say we stand on the shoulders of giants, right?
Yes.
We contribute to the development and the refinement of our discipline.
Yes.
Okay, so Cesar Lombroso may have thought, that people had lumps on their heads and hunched back, and that's why they were criminals, and that's how we could identify criminals. But yeah, he was forgetting the fact that we had, 6-foot men in 5-foot caves, because prisons were underground, and so they had bumps on their head, and they were hunched because they were in there. So we had, some methodological problems, but that's what we do. We retest what they think was truth. And fine. So no, reading doesn't make women's uterus dry up and the number of eggs disappear, hence threatening life on the planet, which was the common belief 100 years ago. Okay. But women got educated and realized that them eggs was worth gold, and could also be an albatross. And oh yeah, prior to the 1950s, was the number one cause of death for women was childbirth, right? So we've got to make sure that we look at every little nuance of life, re-examine, make sure it holds true, and correct and revise and redirect our approach, like girls aren't good at math. Okay, and I've got Hidden Figures that shows that, guess what? Okay, so is it the structure? Go back to your very first question. Nurture nature. Nurture nature. We put our little girls in little pastel nurseries, right? Little pastel mobiles floating over their heads. And for the boys, we use primary colors, solid colors, blue, red, yellow. And there is a link between that and brain development. And those primary colors foster brain development that's more likely to develop strengths for maths and sciences. So we can put science behind this, okay? And then look at the way we interact, the study of social life and behavior. Look at the way we interact and decide, is that, as my Rotary friends would say, good for all involved? Right? One of the four-way testings, I'm involved in Rotary. I'm in a wonderful Rotary club. And one of the things we're concerned with, is it fair to all concerned? Right? And that's one of the things that's in our pledge. I belong to the Barnstable Sunrise Rotary Club in Massachusetts, in Cape Cod. And I am so proud of the fact that I'm a Rotarian and that it aligns with my career as a sociologist. Sorry. Is it fair to all concerned? Right? And what we're seeing right now is a reckoning in our world. A reckoning in our world. It has for so long been so unfair. And now we are strong enough and mighty enough and numeric enough that we can say, oh, hell no, not no more.
Kicking indoors.
That's it. That's right. We're supposed to be kicking indoors. Cheers.
Cheers. Gina said, and you started a college Rotary club. I don't know who Gina is, but she got all the facts. What's up, Gina? Thank you for watching.
I know. Gina's spilling all my beans out here. The community college that one of the community colleges that I worked at had its first Rotaract chapter, which is the 18 to 30-year-old membership wing of Rotary. And we work with Manchester High School in Manchester, Connecticut for their Rotaract, for their Rotarians there, right? For the high school component of it. So if we can start people caring about each other more, just as humans, just as human beings, then we've got to start doing that early in life. Okay. Who you're pretty much going to be is kind of in formation between the ages of 6 and 10. Right?
Oh Lord.
So I look at my little grandchildren, and my two youngest ones are 18 months and 3. And if I cough, if I sneeze, they stop what they were doing and they turn around and they go, Mimi, you okay?
Damn it.
We need that type of caring and compassion close to the surface all the way through your life cycle.
Yes.
We should be concerned looking at each other and just going, hey,
you okay? And not taking fine for an answer.
Right? Exactly. Asking for real, wanting a for real reply. Yeah. My two oldest granddaughters I have 2 sons, and each of them gave me 2 granddaughters. Just saying. And I love them all. That's my squad. Okay. They're the ones that be sneaking the liquor bottles up to Mimi's room. Okay. Bringing me my wine bottles upstairs.
See?
In the years to come. But my 2 oldest granddaughters are 10 and 7. And the amount of outreach that they'll do, okay, because they're like technology age, right? And so I'll get just a little something on my phone, they'll just a little smiley face or, just something, just outreach, and that's it's kind of saying, you all right?
You good?
Yeah, you're good. You all right? Need anything? And it's wonderful. Yeah, and my oldest granddaughter is named Zora.
Oh,
That didn't make me cry. That was the big surprise, my oldest son and his wife. And I did not know until the delivery that here's your granddaughter, Zora.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Because I'm named after my grandmother. So as a grandmother, Lucy, I have a Zora. Just like Zora Neale Hurston had a mother named Lucy. I mean, there's this whole cyclical yeah. And my Zora is, well, all of my grandchildren are special, but Zora is the one that tells me, I'm the one that made you a Mimi.
She knows.
Whatever in my debt she did, she made me Mimi. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she knows.
Yep. Life is good.
Thank all the gods.
Here we go.
How long have you been married and how'd you guys meet?
Going there, huh? We have a second glass of wine.
Okay, that's just a second, guys. Keep count.
This is all my second. This is like how Gina and I count miles when we're doing our 4-mile walk. Okay, that's only a mile long. Yeah, that one. I met my Sydney, who we called affectionately Junior, because he's 6'6" and he's the tallest one in his family. So they call him Junior.
All right, makes sense.
So I call him Junior. So I was on a date, not with him, with somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. So
let's talk about it.
Oh, I do a lot of talk shows, right? You see my resume. No one's asked me this question, so yay T and T. Okay. So I had a date with this guy, and my youngest son, my oldest son was away. He was like a teenager, staying with one of his friends. I was taking my youngest one next door to stay with my neighbor overnight, which was often the boys were here or there, right? And when I took him over, they had company, and there was this guy sitting on a couch. My date's waiting for me at my house. I'm next door dropping off the kid, and I see this guy. And I go, So, my neighbor and I start talking and joking around. So, when are we going to the 880 Club? Used to be this jazz club in Hartford called the 880 Club. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about going, we should go. I get talked up. Yes, we should go. You guys go and bring him.
Yeah, bring that dude.
And so we all agreed, yes. So I come back home, I go on my dad, I go home the next day, I go over the next day and pick up my son and say, changed my mind. The date's on for Friday, but none of y'all are coming. Everybody's supposed to meet at my house, right? And so, yeah. So everybody met here. That would be him and me.
You're everybody. You two are everybody.
Yep, that was it. All right. And it was a lock. It was
genius. I can write that one down. That's a good one right there.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And let me tell you something. So we dated for 15 years. We've only been married 17 years.
Only been married. That's a very long time.
Because we've been together almost 30. He kept asking me, and I kept saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? Because my father told me, I was an old person's baby. My father was 60 when I was born.
Wowzers.
All right. So I was what they call an old person's baby. Right. So
Is that a thing? Is that a thing that people say?
I'm a sociologist. No. Okay. They say it. Yeah. Okay. Is it a thing? No.
No.
But, you're an old person's baby. But I guess older parents, you could associate it with older parents being different type of parenting styles in play. Right. Mm-hmm. So my father used to say things, and I used to tuck them away and believe him. I sat at Daddy's feet for storytelling on life. And so Daddy would say, Daddy, Zora's baby brother, okay? Daddy would say, a man that wants you will always treat you better than a man that has you.
Oh my God, please say it again. Please say it again.
I mean, is it chop in here, right? A man that has you, I'm saying it wrong. A man that wants you will always treat you better than a man that has you.
Okay, that one I'm really gonna write down.
Okay, you write that one down.
Yeah.
While you're writing, I'm drinking. Okay.
Okay.
But
wow.
you know, my father used to have one-liners for everything. You know, yeah. I learned a lot from not at the time that he said them, because it was kind of like yada yada yada, and then you turn 40 and all of a sudden, wait a minute, you know, this might be right.
Mm-hmm.
And I joke because I know for each of my boys there's a story, okay, that I've said 5,000 times to them as like this lesson, this Aesop's tale lesson life thing, right? And they go, Ma, and you can see them kind of like just glaze over, and you're real quiet. You can hear them go, flatlining. They're not hearing shit. Okay.
Nada.
So I would say to my youngest son, well, if I go down the road and I slip and I fall in a hole and I see the hole is there, I look over my shoulder and you're coming down the road, wouldn't I go back and tell you, don't fall in this hole? There's a hole ahead on the road. I'm looking out for you. And he would sit there and go. And I'd say, this is life. I'm just telling you, I went down this road and it wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go down this road. And I'm blessed, you know, with two really great boys, and 4 really super great granddaughters. But I'm more blessed. When I say great, I mean wonderful granddaughters, not great granddaughters, like an old person. Okay,
like a super old person.
Let me clear that up. All right,
just make that yes.
But what I'm also most grateful for that makes all of this work, are 2 of the best daughter-in-laws a woman could ever ask for.
Really?
Okay, because these are the women that are going to be caring for the gift of my loins.
That is a lot, Miss Lucy. That is
my sons. No, my sons and my eternity, my grandchildren. I mean, there's a piece of me genetically that will be on this earth after I'm gone. Okay. And it will be cared for by who? Not only my boys, but I am blessed with the relationships that I have with my daughter-in-laws. And I have girlfriends, you know, that girlfriend network. I have girlfriends that go, oh my God, my daughter-in-law is such a all the grandchildren hostage, and you know. I'm blessed with so much, you know. My husband, who tolerates a lot, let me tell you, a lot, because I am one crazy bitch that can't count past 2 glasses of wine.
I mean, it works for me.
No, in all jesting aside, Sydney is the most supportive and wonderful partner, mate. He gives me space, you know, to be me, and he appreciates, you know, the ebbs and flows of who I am. You know, I'm blessed with my boys, to live to see my granddaughters, and I only have to live another 200 years so I can meet their grandchildren.
I think you're gonna have to vampire it up. I think you need to hop on that like now.
We're embalming. We're fermenting.
I like the way you think. What I want to ask, I have so many questions for you. So Gina already asked what project you're most no, she said what accomplishment are you most proud of? What project are you most proud of?
Okay. Wow, that's a tough one. What project am I? Okay, so one day on campus, when Barack Obama was elected president, or at the copier, and someone says, "Wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could go
Stop.
to the inauguration?" And I said, "Be careful what you ask for. Because if you want to go, I could hook it up."
Stop playing. Stop. Okay, good. Nope, good. Good.
I'm just saying. So.
Yeah. I'm right there.
Oh, Kathy wants to meet Sydney. Yeah, no, he's mine. And so, yes, we took 3 busloads of students, a bunch of faculty. We went to Washington, D.C., and we saw the inauguration of the very first Black president of the United States. I went to the inaugural ball.
You went to the
What? Wait, we had a choice of 3 balls, right? That we could.
You had a choice of 3 balls. Did y'all hear that?
I went to all 3. Okay, the one that was the absolute best, of course, was the presidential. In second place was the Illinois one. Okay, and in third place, just to make sure it was a well-rounded event, we went to Arizona.
Why not? Why not?
Right. So, yeah, that was, I think, pulling that off, getting everybody there. Renting the buses, and I through a friend of a friend of a friend that got connections with, we were able to rent space at a Jewish community center, rent their gym for 4 days. That was on DuPont Circle, which meant we didn't need transportation, right, to get to the inaugural area and everything. And so we were able to stay in for $25 a night, and you got a continental breakfast in the morning. And to this day, when I bump into students, that is the one thing that they speak of most: being able to go to Washington, D.C. and see a president installed.
That's beautiful. Yes.
You know? So that I think was one project. Yeah, another project would have been the going to New Orleans with 55 students the year after Katrina to work for Habitat for Humanity. And we stayed at Camp Hope with over 3,000 other people. And we did that several years in a row. We worked on the completion of 8 houses. Every year we go back, we meet the people whose house we worked on the year before. Right? So I mean, that was so awesome for the students to be involved in a national problem. They laid their hands on a national problem, right? And they got to see stratification and inequality, and we were working in the lower ninth, and they got to see a different way of life. So I like sticking my students' feet in the real world, what they call the real world. Okay. But take them to where they can put their hands on something and feel effective. So it would be the inauguration and going to New Orleans and the community kitchen that
what's that?
Work at in the little town that I live in here in Connecticut. We have a community kitchen, and we were serving hot meals until the global pandemic, and now we're doing grocery bags, but we're feeding several thousand people, every month. 400 to 500 people's worth of food is being dispersed every Saturday. So to take that from what was this small community with camaraderie and social connections between everybody there, because it was always more than about just the meal. It's well checks. It's
yes.
Do you need this? It's the 211 connections to, oh, you need a place to stay, or your electricity is getting ready to be turned off. So it's helping with what they call kitchen table issues, right? But to be able to come someplace and sit and feel like you're equal, you're not less than, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the people that are helping you are not looking down on you while they help you, right? So we were a little community. It was wonderful. We knew the people that came in there every week. We watched them make connections and sit with this one. And have you seen Sybil? And anybody check on so and so? So to build that type of community, and to instill or support in people the idea of working with and for community, making us each other's brother and sister, is a wonderful thing. And again, it's what infuses all the work that I do.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
I just have 3 more questions for you.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is, I know there's an answer to this, but I'm looking for something, I guess, more spiritual rather than clinical.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think? What's the difference between sociology and anthropology? Like, I know what the actual definition is between the two, but if you were to like feel like spirited, like the difference between these two, what do you think they are?
I don't mean to be disrespectful to academicians that are.
Here we go. Let me get my wine. Hold on. Let's go.
Okay. I may need another swing too. I don't mean to be disrespectful to academicians in the field of anthropology. I am not going to speak for that field. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm not. I am not going to speak for that field in this answer, because I have not earned credentials in that discipline. However, with that precursor, the difference between sociology and anthropology could be deemed in. With anthropology, you're looking somewhat back on occurrences. Where with sociology, you can, depending on if you are doing qualitative or quantitative work, look at the present and future and remedies. So what does sociology do? It describes, it explains, and it can, at its very best scenario, predict. And then, at its highest plane, it can surmise, in my opinion. So if we know this to be true, and if we can prove that, in fact, this is true, then we can say we expect this. Okay? Anthropology may look at some, if we go to medical or cultural anthropology, you can look at current and compare it to the past. And I know that I'm going to get a text message or an email from my dear, dear friend, Dr. Jean Nguyen, who is the best anthropologist that I have known in my entire life, for not defending her discipline more strongly than mine. Might be biased, okay? But I think that if you want to look for solutions to social problems, sociology is what you need. I've often said one of the most egregious errors in the formation of our U.S. government is that there is not a sociologist in the White House. Okay, we could avoid or have a different clinical type look at social problems, how they're deemed, how they're defined, how they're viewed from within or outside of the group. And then when the talking heads figure out what the answer to that is, okay, then you still again need for implementation, right? The sociologist to understand the cultural relevance of what you're trying to do. I listen on the television and I hear them talk about, oh, worried about people of color not wanting to take the vaccine. And you need to understand the history of that.
It's so readily available.
You want to go forward, you need to know where you've been. Okay? You're doing mass sterilizations in Texas in 2021. Okay? You have asylum seekers. They are so not migrants. If I hear that term one more time, they are not migrants. The legal term for them is asylum seekers. Okay, and there is a plan of what you can do with someone that holds the social title, the social label of asylum seeker. Right? But everybody started with the migrant term, and now that's what they use, and migrants have no rights. Okay, so you can build a cage out of those words. All right?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, you can.
How we treat you is how we label you.
Yes.
Are you an enemy combatant or are you a prisoner of war? Because then we can apply the Geneva Convention to you. You're an enemy combatant, man. You're at Guantanamo. And we're not even telling anybody you're at Guantanamo. Right? So all of that matters. So if you want to look for a solution and you need to apply it differently in different communities, then you need to understand the history that could be a brick wall in getting into that community. All right. So you need someone or a team of people that understand social life and behavior. Okay. And you've also got to take into consideration how people feel about how you feel about them. Okay. If you think they are test dogs, then you say stuff like, well, we need to give this vaccine to our weakest people, the special ed students, stuff to get them back in school. Because what does that sound like when everybody's already leery about how quickly this vaccine came out, not understanding the proper process of it?
Guinea pigs. Sounds like guinea pigs.
Right? And so doesn't that sound like what we've medically incurred before? So if you don't know your history, right? If you don't understand the cultural background of a group, okay? You're telling people to wash your hands. You must keep washing your hands. What does that mean if you live on a reservation where you have to drive 3 hours to get water? Okay? So how are you expecting people to... So it's just understanding the culture, the structure, the history, caring enough to know that there are differences and to not rank them, but to just say they coexist and they're all of value. I'm going to miss teaching. Of course, there's this little Benny here.
Okay, second to last question. You have done so much in your life, in your career. What inspires you? To this day, is there a person, an event, a thing that helps propel you forward? What inspires you? What or who?
I would like to think that that my daddy is looking down on me saying, "You go, girl." If I hold that, not the social scientist, but the daughter holds that to be true, then I look forward to sitting on a ledge somewhere and swinging my legs next to daddy and looking down on my boys and my granddaughters and my students and everyone I've had the pleasure of brushing up against during my lifetime, and hoping that I've had an impact.
Yes.
I receive emails from students that, hey, I had you 22 years ago, and I'm a correctional officer, and and now, and this is a true one. This is a true one. About a month ago, and he's a correctional officer, and he said, I had you. Well, it was about your second or third year of teaching, and so it was a long time ago. And
I didn't
you
hear that.
on me, and you made sure, when you followed up, and you nagged me, but you got me through. And now I realize, because I'm going through it with my sons.
How does that feel? Like, to know that you had that kind of impact on a student who you were with for what, 4 months?
Exactly, right?
How do you?
Johanna Hayes.
Mhm.
Johanna Hayes in Washington, D.C. Her first semester of college,
Mhm.
all right, was my first semester as a professor. And she was in my class. And just about 3 or 4 years ago, I invited Representative Johanna Hayes from Waterbury, Connecticut, to be a speaker for Black History Month at our church, Bloomfield Congregational in Bloomfield, Connecticut. I invited her, right?
Mhm.
And I wrote to her, oh, remember me? I was your sociology professor. Would you come and speak at our church for Black History Month? And she wrote back, she was thrilled. Oh, God, yes. And she came, and I introduced her, the service is going on. Now it's time for me for the speaker. I get up, I introduce her. She comes to the podium. One of the first things she says, and it brought me to tears. She said, I remember Professor Hurston saying, there's more than one way of being and doing. Sometimes there's just not one right answer. And I tell you something, it rocked me back on my heels standing in the sanctuary when she said that. Because I say that every semester. We have to appreciate diversity. There's more than one way of being and doing. All right. And we could be missing opportunities because we are looking away from other cultures and other ways of being and doing. But to hear that come out of one of my students' mouths, it was my very first year of teaching
Mhm.
as a college professor. Okay. And it was her very first year as a student in my classroom as a college student. And full circle, here we come. And I look and I go, oh my God. To think that I impacted this woman, that she knew, as she subsequently stated in her speech to us, that she could have a chance at fixing some of the problems in the world. That's powerful. Okay, to know that. I mean, and every once in a while I get a little. Someone who used to stop by my office, when I was on campus. Hi, Professor Hurston, and I go, "Do I know? Yes, you had me like 11 years ago. I just finished my bachelor's degree. Thank you." Okay, but I got him there.
Mhm.
Okay, so I mean, that's just knowing that I can have an impact, that I can motivate people to do better, to do more, or just to do.
Mhm.
And that's what inspires me to do things like the community kitchen in town, to do Rotary. Um, Rotary is a wonderful, kind organization that has a good structure and foundation and just needs good people.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes you have to look for them, right? But my Barnstable Sunrise Club is absolutely fabulous. They do good work, and I love the diversity and the love and kindness among that club. I mean, look at Kathy's on here.
Yes, I love me some Kathy. Kathy was like my you. Like
See,
Kathy, yes, I will love Kathy into the very day I die. She uh she saved me in more ways than I can count. But like
see?
that matters. The job that you do as a professor, the impact that you have on students, it matters. We remember it. And I wouldn't be talking to you right now if it weren't for Kathy's like influence and her, you can do it. Like that matters.
But
And
we have
having
to
a
build
professor.
that up in subsequent generations.
Yes.
Right? You have to do it, right? Because you could speak to a different group. There are several generations between you, T, and my granddaughters. So get on your job.
Yes.
Okay. I
Get
want
to
that.
work.
This is we are on the precipice of a wonderful, momentous change.
Yes.
American society. We could say we lived through it. We pushed for decades, for years, right? And we're right here.
Keep the foot on the gas.
Okay. It's like we can't let go now.
No.
Right? Pendulum is going to take a long time for the pendulum to swing back away. Yeah, swing back this way if we let it go now. Right?
Yes.
It took how much, how long, and how many for us.
How many have we lost in the fight for equality?
Yeah. So, and there's just so much to fight for. There's enough different things to fight for. There's something for everybody. There's a cause for everybody. And I just want everybody to do something. Because doing nothing is doing something. Doing nothing is leading to demise. You have to do something. I tell my students, so you're walking through the forest. You're at Penwood State Park. Great state park. You're going through Penwood State Park. It's a beautiful fall day in the leaves, in the colors. We're in New England, okay? So,
it's pretty.
It's orange, it's red, it's yellow. It's a fucking leaf, okay? And you hear it in the background, someone screaming, help, help me.
You go help.
And you run over and you see a guy hanging off a cliff. He lost his footing. It's a 7,000-foot drop, whatever. He's hanging on by his fingertips. It's not your fault. You didn't push him. Right? You did nothing wrong. But if you don't help him,
he's going to die.
He will definitely die. Doing nothing is doing something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is an amazing analogy. That is an amazing.
It's not my fault. I got black friends. Some of my best friends are black.
That, oh my God, Miss Lucy, that right there drives me nuts.
Doing nothing is doing something. And if you're conscious of put your ass to bed that night after that man falls off that ledge, then good for you. And I'll meet you at heaven's gates, because you ain't coming in. So
Peter gonna have something to say.
But you see, you have to think about it. You could keep your head in the sand. It doesn't keep the blood off your hands.
Okay, I have one more question. Please don't hang up afterwards. I have another private question I want to ask you.
Ooh, okay.
So you are a writer. Those of you who are watching, sociologists, what's that word? The E word?
Ethnographer.
Oh, sorry.
All I can think of is conjunction. What's your function?
Ethnographer.
You have to spell it out.
Public speaker, data collection. You do a lot of things. So if there were a person who were just starting off, like you were when you were 31, what advice would you give that person? If they're just starting college, if they're just starting their dream, and they're not sure if this is the right way to go, or if they should stay home or whatever, what advice would you give that person?
Get out of your comfort zone. Okay, you just totally get out of your comfort zone. Don't look for a course that, I know something about that, so I'll start with that. No. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something that is totally foreign and unfamiliar to you. And it will feel weird and odd initially. But anytime you are outside of familiarity, you grow, you adapt, you adjust. You have to make sure that you do that you grow, and more importantly, after that you reflect. I take my students to the north end of Hartford to work on a Habitat for Humanity construction site. These white, who think they're middle class students, they're not, okay? But they think they're middle class students, and they're going to the north end of Hartford. Ooh, dangerous terrain. Black people live there.
Just Black people.
That's and it. They ask me, will my car be safe there?
Well, not anymore.
And I tell them, you know what? Use my car as a decoy. Park your car behind my BMW 330xi.
Bam!
Okay? Because really, because if you're worried about your little Chevy, okay, you're going to be all right, honey. Okay?
Yes.
But these preconceived notions of we're going to do construction for Habitat for Humanity to replace ancient housing for low-income people, all of a sudden presents the equivalence of poor and danger. Okay?
Propaganda.
So, again, it's the idea that, I put their feet on the ground, all right? And they're at these sites working on habitat homes, painting and doing construction and framing and, right next to people that they don't know, right? And they strike up a conversation with, and they have the day with them and everything, and then come to find out, oh, that's the homeowner. And they say, oh, they seem so normal. No, but that's a learning moment, because they're not saying it with disgust, they're saying it with awe. What?
And that pisses me off even more.
Well, it's a baby step.
Yeah.
Because then they've got to do the journal entries and all that stuff to think back on it. What did you expect?
What did you expect? Yeah. Okay.
But it's what we deal with.
Okay? On a daily basis.
Whole thing about making you stronger and all that. I had professors at the Ohio State, when I was doing my graduate work. They said, oh my God, this is wonderful work. What did you expect? I came in as the graduate fellow. Okay, the graduate fellow of my cohort. Okay, so what was your expectation of me while you're blown away by the fact that I can write a competent theory paper? All right, so these expectations of who we are or what we can do still exist, even and especially within the tower, within the ivory tower.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure that my generation comes to your generation to prep you, instill in you the stories and everything, so that you can take care of what needs to take place between now and when my granddaughters are ready.
Exactly.
To go to college.
Yes.
Right? That they can stand up there and they can be proud and brave and aggressive, right? Because that's usually such a male term, right? Oh, he's an aggressive learner. But we don't like to see that about women, right?
No.
So, yeah, we have to pass it down to UT, all right? So that you can pass it down to the next.
Yes. Yes. And I have a quote that I say when it comes to people who have not done the work that they need to do on themselves in order to make themselves the best version of themselves, which is stop making your you problem my us problem.
Okay.
I already got shit to do. Okay. I don't have time to clean up after you.
Yep. And
go fix yourself.
The other thing is, it's not my problem. You need to fix your problem. Here's the thing. if you catch the flu or you have a splinter or you've got an axe in your head, okay, I can't go to the doctor and help you.
I can't. That was so vastly different.
Okay, exactly. And that's how vastly different the problems are.
Yes.
Okay. So some of you just have like a splinter. Okay. I can't help you. See my fingers? I got no splinters in my fingers. It's your problem. So asking me, and I'm telling you, more than once in situations, in racially situated situations, I've been asked, what should we do? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's your problem. I can't solve your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Y'all need to work on yourself. Okay. Because whether it's a splinter, it's a heart attack, it's an axe in the head, if it's not happening directly on me and you have no appreciation for those who it's happening on, I can't help you.
I'm out.
Okay. So you need to fix your problem with race relations.
And that's the perfect place to stop. Thank you guys so much for watching Uncorked with T. Thank you so much, Ms. Lucy Anne Hurston, for being here with us today. We learned so much, and remember, hurt people, so keep an eye on your pain. Next week, we have Rashonda Parker. She is a jewelry designer, crafter, mother, poet, and published model. So make sure you check that out next week. Thank you so much, Ms. Lucy Anne Hurston. Check out her book, which is Speak, so we can speak again. So you can speak again. The Life of Zora Neale Hurston. Make sure you check that out. Support Black-owned businesses. Make sure that you go check that out. Thank you, Ms. Lucy Anne Hurston. You guys have a wonderful night. Deuces.
Deuces. Bye. Thank you.
Good night, guys.